So hello everyone, Razia Mashkoor, Watan Ki Baat, हम वतनों के साथ. As you know, in India there are so much myth, so much noise, so much misinterpretation about the bills. और हम लोग ये चाह रहे थे कि हमें सही सूरत हाल का अंदाजा हो, सही सूरत क्या वहाँ रीसेंट कंडीशन क्या है, क्योंकि इतनी सारी कहानियां आ रही हैं, इतनी सारे मिथ्स हैं जो चारों तरफ फैले हुए हैं. और उस बीच में से उस सारी कहानियों में से हमें रियलिटी चेक करना है कि what is this bill all about and why our kisan, why our farmers are against that bill. हमारी कोशिश थी, हमने कल भी एक साहब को बुलाया था, अभिषेक को, कि वो बताएं कि गवर्नमेंट की तरफ से ये बिल क्या कह रहे हैं. और आज हमारे सामने तीन हमारे बहुत ही अच्छे दोस्त मौजूद हैं. मैं उनको आपसे इंट्रोड्यूस कराने से पहले सिर्फ इतना चाहूंगी कि मैंने इन लोगों को इसलिए इनवाइट किया है ताकि इनकी तरफ से हम ये जान सकें कि आखिर इन बिल की रियलिटी क्या है और ये जो प्रोटेस्ट हो रहा है दिल्ली में, उस प्रोटेस्ट की असल वजह क्या है. क्योंकि ये लोग तीनों एट सम पॉइंट उन्हीं जगह से आ रहे हैं, उसी बैकग्राउंड से आ रहे हैं जिस बैकग्राउंड पर आज हमारे कुछ हिंदुस्तानी भाई बहन सर्दी में बैठे हुए हैं और अपने हक की लड़ाई लड़ रहे हैं. तो सबसे पहले मैं एक यंग बच्चा हमारे साथ है, यंग मैन सुमीत सिंह. सुमीत यहाँ पर बॉस्टन में होते हैं, NESSC एंड निष्काम टीवी से लगे जुड़े हुए हैं, बॉस्टन यूनिवर्सिटी में है. के बाद हमारे साथ देवेंद्र जी हैं वर्जीनिया से. देवेंद्र जी, वेलकम एट BDC. एंड उसके बाद हमारे बॉस्टन से एक और बहुत अच्छे दोस्त हैं, हरबलदीप सिंह जी, जो वैसे तो प्रोफेशनली डिफरेंट है, लेकिन एज अ फिल्म मेकर, एज अ रनिंग द टीवी शो और टीवी निष्काम टीवी इन्होंने स्टार्ट किया था लास्ट ईयर और फ्यू इयर्स बैक. फिल्में बनाई हैं हमारी सिख कम्युनिटी के इश्यूज पर. बहुत अच्छी और बहुत बोल्ड फिल्म थी. तो आप सब तीनों लोगों का बहुत बहुत खैर मकदम है और बहुत शुक्रिया आप लोगों का ज्वाइन करने के लिए.
थैंक यू जी.
थैंक यू.
तो मैं सबसे पहले जानना चाहूंगी हरबलदीप जी, what is this bill all about? Why it's really necessary to introduce new bill and amend the one bill that he amended? So why is this so happen in India? क्या इसकी जरूरत थी?
Now first, thank you Razia ji, thanks for the invitation. और आपके प्रोग्राम का नाम है वतन की बात. And today we live in a global village.
Yep.
और जो हमारी जन्मभूमि है, अभी we live in US, कर्म भूमि. So we are always connected through internet, talking to our family. So सब लोगों को मालूमात है, there is a lot happening in Punjab these days and there are agitation going on. So thanks again for invitation. So we thought there are a lot of things. Whenever there's an agitation, there are always two school of thoughts. There school of thought which believe these bills are very good for Indian economy, and obviously there's the other side, and we are seeing those protests where people are saying, well, this is not good. And so we thought, let's try to demystify some of the things in this bill.
Sure.
There are a lot of things in the bill, and there are a lot of things outside the bill, which is,
Correct.
Is it politically motivated, and does it a good, bad, who's doing it, who's sponsoring it? So we're going to keep all that away.
Yep.
We can talk about bill. And then obviously Dwinder comes from a village background. I was born in a Pend basically, and but then moved to cities. And similarly, Sumit is born here. His family is still connected to Pend. So let's talk about these three bills. Two are new bills and one bill is an amendment. तो किसी भी चीज को समझने के लिए sometimes we need to understand history. ये bill, इसका actual history क्या थी, कहाँ से आया, क्यों आया, what was the need, and why now is the time to change it. So I thought before we go into bills, let me briefly touch the history of the farming sector as general, and then specifically about these bills. तो 1947 1947 इंडिया गॉट इंडिपेंडेंट. उसके बाद देयर वर लॉट ऑफ famines, like वेस्ट बंगाल का famine is very popular, and we are importing grains from actually US and Canada that time. So 1965 में नेहरू गवर्नमेंट decided we need to and green revolution का टाइम चल रहा था तब. The Punjab was pretty much in the forefront for the wheat and paddy. So the Nehru government decided we need to regulate this market, क्योंकि जो crop होती है specifically wheat and paddy, rice, वो seasonal है and they're 2 times in the year. So we need to make sure if farmers don't get the right price, next year they may not grow. They may not grow that crop. So there has to be some incentives. The whole world works on some of the incentives, even in the capitalist society, and we'll talk more details about that. So they decided, let's create a regulated market, and it was called APMC, Agriculture Produce Market Committee. APMC committee बना दी और उन्होंने decide किया will create a minimum support price. हम लोग जो wheat और rice buy करेंगे farmer से, it will be at an MSP, minimum support price. और ये minimum support price doesn't come out of thin air. They have a committee who go through that twice a year for each crop, and they decide because Mother Nature plays a big role in the farming sector, so they need to see how was the weather, what was inflation for fertilizers, the water, electricity. So there are so many factors which go into that. So they decide we'll go through those all factors and we'll create this MSP price and we'll give it to farmers. After that, Punjab and Haryana adopted these APMC mandis. They're also called mandis and MSP. And we know Punjab and Haryana did pretty good in green revolution. And Punjab and Haryana are also called the food bowls of India. The maximum wheat and rice come from Haryana, Punjab and Haryana combined. So this is the history. और APMC में क्या होता है? So farmers and government buy crops through this middleman. अभी middleman word को ऐसे हम लोगों ने बोल दिया जैसे it's a negative word, like they are eating the biggest share of the lunch. So the role of Artiya is, so Artiya first they need to get a license. Once they get a license, so they procure this crop from farmers. They bring that crop, clean it, weigh it, and even they help farmers with some loans, and there is a relationship built up between them. They help them whenever they require money. And then the Artiyas sell it to the government, and then a government through APMC, they created this FCI, the Food Corporation of India. They have a big godowns and they put it. And I think in any system which is a marketplace where you have a supply side and there's a demand side and there's a middleman, वो system में कुछ with some time some of the things become status quo. Status quo से क्या होता है? There is a waste involved in the system. Yeah, we all agree APMC system needs to be revamped. अभी दो नए bill और एक amendment जो अभी आई है. So the first bill is called the Farmers Produce Trade and Commerce Promotion and Facilitation. So as the name suggests, the farmers की जो produce है, उसको government trade and commerce के promotion और facilitation के लिए help करेगी. So there's a one question which is coming. Oh, with this bill, MSP will go away, APMC will go away. So they're saying we are not touching that, and we need to understand that. APMC markets, mandis will stay, MSP will stay. So they are saying we will create a new market. A new market will be created. A private buyers will come, will create a digital platform. Think of eBay. eBay पे कोई भी अपना सामान डालता है और anybody wants to buy, and then you bid it and you can bid it. So they say will government, because their regulation, government's role is to govern and provide a framework. So they are saying we'll create this digital platform where farmers can go and the sellers will bid for the crops. क्योंकि वहाँ पे competition होगा, the price will go up and they will go. And then the farmers, once the transaction is done, 3 दिन में उनको पेमेंट करनी होगी. अभी महीने लग जाते हैं, जैसे there's a complaint about that. 3 दिन में आपको पेमेंट मिल जाएगी, otherwise they'll be fine. और फार्मर की रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है उसको शिप करना और वट एवर अरेंजमेंट यू वांट टू डू इट. So we need to keep all these subtleties of this bill before Devinder will talk about the ground reality of uski family will how will they engage with this platform or they will buy karenge, because we need to understand a lot of factors about that, the demographic factors, educational factors, how IT expertise you have it, and infrastructure for the IT. But the government going to do that. So that's the first bill. And the second bill is the farmers empowerment and production agreement of price assurance. जो सेकंड नया बिल लेके आया है वो दैट इज फॉर ए अपना कॉन्ट्रैक्ट फार्मिंग. तो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट फार्मिंग अभी भी होती है. जैसे पंजाब में, आई रिमेंबर व्हेन आई वाज अ किड, Pepsi came in Punjab and there's a village called Channo and they set up a factory for Lay's chips. हम लोग Lay's chips सबको मालूम है. तो they went to farmers and say, आप जो आलू का उत्पादन करोगे वो सिर्फ हमारे लिए करोगे and we'll do it. And we'll help you with how to bring more yield, productivity, R&D वो करेंगे. And we can talk about those issues because तब Pepsi ने बोला आपके जो आलू हैं वो बहुत मीठे हैं, हम तो बाय नहीं कर सकते. अब उनकी जो yield आई थी जब आलू की, they said we're not going to buy it, and you can think what going to happen after that. Either they have to go and take this quintals of आलू to cities to sell it, और अगर कोई नहीं बाय करता, first thing you need to sell it for a cheap, और अगर नहीं लोग बाय करते, you have to throw it. So this is one example of privatization with a Pepsi coming to Punjab and Channo to making a Lay's chips. And these are all examples on Google. You can do that. So that's where the contract farming clause comes in. And they are saying any corporate house, any big Walmart or Flipkart or maybe Amazon is in India, whatever they want to sell on their platform, they can go to farmers and they will say, you will do farming for me. So there's a contract, and इस contract में 1 साल का है, 5 साल का है. They will decide हम लोग इस प्राइस पे बाय करेंगे. अगर आलू है तो हम उसको 10 रुपए पे पर किलो बाय करेंगे every year. अब आलू का प्राइस अगर 40-50 हो जाता है, obviously farmer will suffer. But अगर कम होता है तो then they are saved. So that's a contract farming. I think contract farming इस clause पे कोई problem नहीं है. So it's contract farming, but then you have to see what happens if जो corporate ने आपको 5 साल का contract sign किया and you're doing a farming for one specific party, अगर वो company bankruptcy file कर जाती है, where you going to go now? So, and when you go to third person negotiation के लिए, you know you are at a place where you can't negotiate to other parties, so they अपना मनमाना price लेंगे. The second part, which is very important in my personal opinion, is the democracies work with the law of court of law. तो कोई भी कॉन्फ्लिक्ट होता है, हम लोग कोर्ट में केस डालते हैं, अगर सिविल कोर्ट है या व्हाटएवर. सो इस बिल में एक क्लॉज है, अगर कॉन्फ्लिक्ट होता है बिटवीन ए फार्मर एंड द परचेजर, आप कोर्ट में नहीं जा सकते, आप लीगल कोर्ट में नहीं जा सकते. यू कैन गो टू व्हाट्स कॉल्ड एन एपलेट कोर्ट. एपलेट कोर्ट क्या होता है? इट्स अ लोकल कोर्ट जो पहले आप अपने SDM, सब डिविजनल मजिस्ट्रेट, द ब्यूरोक्रेटिक सिस्टम इन इंडिया जो ब्रिटिश छोड़ के गए थे वो अभी तक है. सो यू विल गो टू योर SDM, सो वो आपको सुलह करवाने की कोशिश करेंगे. इफ यू डोंट एग्री देन यू कैन हाईएस्ट लेवल यू कैन गो टू डिप्टी कमिश्नर ऑफ योर town.
Wow, there is no court system involved in this.
There's no court system involved here.
Wow.
Okay, so that's the second bill. And the third bill is an amendment, which is essential commodity bill. वो गवर्नमेंट इस बिल को इसलिए लेके आई थी because they don't want the rich people who have deep pockets to hoard essential food items in their big cold storage और एक artificial demand create कर दे. हम लोग इस बिल में there are a lot of discussions happening about open market. So I think it's very important to understand how open markets work. I know a lot of people know that, but आपके शो के जरिए I think it's good to.
नहीं, आप प्लीज उसको एक्सप्लेन करते जाइए.
Yeah, so open markets, we talk about capitalism, open market. There's a demand side and the supply side, okay? And then both demand and supply creates an equilibrium, which do a price discovery. वो define करती है इसका सही price क्या होना चाहिए. और अगर if you can play with the system, अगर मैं किसी भी क्रॉप को, वेजिटेबल को अगर मैं स्टोर कर लेता हूं, ठीक है, आप सप्लाई कर रहे हो मेरे को, मैं उसको मार्केट में पहुंचने नहीं देता, मैं होल्ड कर लेता हूं. Now what will happen? There is artificial demand now.
Of course, it happened with the onion.
Onions, big
Yeah.
example. So अगर आप artificial demand create कर लेते हो तो prices will go up. Farmer ने तो बेच दी 10 रुपए की. आप onion अब 100 rupees का करो, $90 का profit किसको हो रहा है? So there are some irregularities in the free markets too. That's where government comes in. They needs to have right regulations to make sure these open markets are working efficiently. That's the government's role. But उसने essential commodity निकाल दी है. उसमें there are different items like vegetables and grains हैं, edible oils हैं. और जिस दिन ये बिल अप्रूव हुआ है एज ए लॉ इन सितंबर, उसके बाद इन चीजों का प्राइस बढ़ गया है.
हाँ, तो जब ओपन मार्केट में जाएगा तो वहां तो फिर हमारा जो ब्लैक मार्केटिंग है वो बढ़ेगी बहुत.
That's the reason, because the people who were suppliers to the market, तो मंडी से लेके आते थे, उन्होंने लेके होल्ड कर रखा है. जैसे ही इन्होंने बोला अभी, बिकॉज पहले होर्डिंग क्या, देयर वाज ए लॉ, यू कांट होल्ड इट. अभी कोरोना आया है. What happened with the corona? The two things which are in high demand are mask and hand wash. Anybody can, because there is a demand, supply is less. So government put mask and hand wash in those commodity list. So government still will maintain that commodity list, but अभी उन्होंने जो पहले
ऑन कर दिया है सब.
So these are the three bills which are introduced, which is one to do with the facilitation of this digital platform to buy, sell your crops. Second is contract farming with the dispute management or conflict management. And the third is your essential commodity bill, which they have removed some of the items.
ओके, तो जैसा ये कह रहे हैं कि अगर मार्केट ओपन होती है तो उससे कंपटीशन बढ़ेगा, प्राइस अरेंज होंगे, मार्केट ओपन होगी तो ज्यादा मौके मिलेंगे, ज्यादा लोगों के पास होगा चांस टू सेल देयर प्रोडक्ट. लेकिन इस सारे किस्से में दो चीजें जो मुझे नजर आ रही हैं. एक तो ये कि हमारे जो किसान भाई हैं वो 100% लिटरेट नहीं है, तो उनको डिजिटल मार्केट को समझना और ट्रेड करना इज इम्पॉसिबल. कुछ लोग कर सकते हैं, एक पार्ट कर सकता है, मगर मेजर पार्ट है वो नहीं कर सकता. एक तो ये चीज है, और दूसरा जो यानी जो हमारे बिल्कुल छोटे जमींदार हैं या छोटे जिन किसान हैं वो पिस जाएंगे इसमें. देवेंद्र जी क्या कहते हैं आप इसके बारे में?
आपने बिल्कुल सही किया जी. जो अगर ओपन ट्रेड हो, जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल, तो इट बिकम्स म्यूचुअल, सो म्यूचुअल एग्रीमेंट. तो उसमें डिपेंड करता है कि किसके पास पावर ज्यादा है. सो फॉर एग्जांपल कि मैं एक छोटा फार्मर हूं जिसने पिछले 6 महीने लगा के अपना लोन लेकर मैंने अपनी क्रॉप की, और फाइनली आई हैव द क्रॉप ऑन माय फील्ड. आई डोंट हैव स्पेस इन माय होम. और दूसरी तरफ आप हो, मान लो आप बड़े बिग कॉर्पोरेट सेक्टर हो विद बिलियंस ऑफ टर्नओवर. तो हम लोग प्राइस नेगोशिएट कर रहे हैं. तो who has the negotiation power? आपके पास पावर है जो मेरे पास.
ऑलवेज बायर के पास होती है.
एग्जैक्टली. जैसे वालमार्ट है, आप एग्जांपल लो, तो वालमार्ट को आप अगर एक छोटी सी चीज आप उसके लिए मैन्युफैक्चर कर रहे हो, तो वालमार्ट इज गोइंग टू डिक्टेट यू द प्राइस कि इतनी प्राइस है, ऐसे है. so there is, so farmer will never get, so to me that is why this is very risky. To me, this farmer protest, it should not be only farmers protest. It should be entire Indian protest. Yes. Because the entire Indian population is going to get affected in the long term. Who is only people who are going to make profit will be the corporate sector, which and unfortunately some of the corporate sector won't be even the Indian corporate sector. It may be the US corporate sector, because most of the Indian corporate, now the US companies also have say into them. So to me, that this is that notion that okay, let it happen, open trade, and that will benefit farmer. It won't happen. आप यूएस में एग्जांपल ले लो, सो लॉट ऑफ इंडस्ट्रीज आर रेगुलेटेड. आप रियल एस्टेट की एग्जांपल ले लो. सो जैसे मिडलमैन की बात हुई है, बिचौलिया. सो रियल एस्टेट में यूएस मैंडेटेड इन लेट 1930s, क्योंकि उससे पहले बहुत ज्यादा, उससे पहले ओपन मार्केट थी, क्योंकि कोई भी किसी को घर सेल कर सकता था. तो लॉट ऑफ पीपल वर गेटिंग ब्लैकमेल्ड एंड ऑल दैट. सो यूएस ने ब्रोकर्स इंसर्ट किए. अब हमको कई बार लगता है कि हमें 6% कमीशन देना पड़ता है, बट देयर इज ए हिस्ट्री बिहाइंड इट. Now, one thing I want to cover, I know Herbal covered the history from 1960s onwards. If I can take a minute, I can go even 200 years back. So
Please.
India, I love the country dearly.
Of course.
India has been known by many names. India ko sone ki chidiya bhi kaha jata tha. India has been a land of riches, but India was also been a land of famines.
Agriculture, of
Millions
course.
of, even there is a data before, pehle ka to data hai nahi, lekin whenever British took over, so about 200 years from 1865 to 1947, 100 million people died because of the famines. 100 million, that was almost half the Indian
Half the
population at that time.
Yeah.
So British actually were the one. British studied entire India. So they figured out that the Punjab's land is fertile, Punjab's have plenty of water. So they developed the canal system that is there today in late 1800s. So they made the Punjab as the food bowl of the, at that time, Punjab, Haryana, and even Delhi, Himachal, they were all one state. They were all under the state of Punjab. So when I say Punjab at that time, it also includes Haryana, Delhi, and Himachal. So they made the Punjab as the major agriculture thing. And actually in 1947, early 1950, Jawaharlal Nehru tried to do exactly the same thing which Modi claims to do. So he said between 1950s and 1965, Nehru's policies were okay, that we want to focus on industrialization. We want to get away from agriculture. So he actually put a price cap on agricultural commodities that you cannot sell beyond this price. So it was an upper limit. Then as a result, people in Punjab at that time, Punjab, Haryana, they just stopped growing. There was no reason to grow more crops. Then in 1965 was a turning point. There was a bad monsoon. There was actually big famine expected, and actually there was a person who was the US foreign aid to the India. His name was Lester Brown. So he actually predicted. He said 10 million people will die in India. India is not going to have enough food grain by the autumn. Then he worked with the US president. They actually shipped more than 10 million tons of wheat in 1965 to India. So that actually prevented so many millions of people from dying. And then it was also actually US president and all, they advised India, Nehru's committee, that you need to modernize agriculture. You need to provide incentive to the farmers. And then the Green Revolution, then the people of Punjab and Haryana, only they bought it. Nehru tried to sell it to all states. No other state agreed to do the farming using like modern tractors, pesticides, fertilizers. Punjab and Haryana, they took that, but then there was a question. They say, okay, we will grow the crop. If you don't buy, what we'll do? That is when in 1965, so Nehru introduced the MSP. Now MSP is a floor price. So again, MSP, I don't know, people are saying is nothing against, MSP does not go against open markets. It is like, it's basically, what it means is that it's a cost plus basis. Even in the US now, there is a defense contracting. A lot of contracts are evaluated, they say based on the cost plus. They say, okay, you do your cost plus 20% or 10% profit. That is how MSP is the minimum floor price. So it was an incentive to Punjab and Haryana farmers to produce more. And there is a data, actually, the person, one American got a Nobel Prize who was part of the Green Revolution architect, that India saved some probably 50-60 million people from starvation during the 60s and 70s. So there was a reason for it. Now again, that they say, if you don't learn from history, you're destined to repeat it.
Yes, absolutely.
You don't want to go back to the pre-1965 era, then the farmers will have no incentive. And I am also a believer that in India as a country, the country has to be sovereign. Now, it is very important to me for the sovereignty of a country that you're self-sufficient first in, for example, in the defense, you're self-sufficient in your healthcare system, and you're self-sufficient in your food supply system.
Food supplies, absolutely.
Imagine if tomorrow there is a war with some country. The first thing they do is that they stop international shipment of anything related to defense or healthcare.
I mean, even during pandemic, बहुत सारी चीजें आई गई नहीं.
Exactly. हमने पेंडेमिक के दौरान देखा ना कि कितनी मेडिसिन कंट्री कहते हैं कि हम बाहर नहीं करेंगे. तो ये चीजें, इसलिए ये पूरे इंडिया को समझना चाहिए कि ये लॉज पूरे इंडिया के लिए हैं. दे आर वेरी डेट्रीमेंटल. अगर पंजाब हरियाणा ने फार्मिंग करनी छोड़ दी एडिशनल, अब 70% जो सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट का कोटा है डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन वो पंजाब एंड हरियाणा से
पंजाब
आता
से
है।
आता है।
अगर वो छोड़ दिया तो इंडिया विल
I mean,
नॉट
we
बी
cannot
सेल्फ
survive,
सफिशिएंट।
of course, of course.
Yes, guaranteed they may be able to buy sometimes the cheap wheat from US or even Pakistan. They can buy it from cheap wheat, but that is not going to be sustainable model.
Yep.
So it's very dangerous in the long term. So, but as Herbal said, the idea is that again we know sometimes the agriculture, that reforms are needed. They are required across entire India. But when you do those things, you have to do it in a proper way, like a democratic country does.
Country does.
It's not like a dictatorship
Dictator
does.
kind, yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's a sad situation. Let's हमारे young man सुमित जी बहुत देर से बैठे हमारा इंतजार कर रहे हैं। तो सुमित, मैं आपसे ये जानना चाहूंगी कि जो ये ह्यूमन राइट वायलेशन हो रहा है इंडिया में, how do you see this?
So, I mean, there's like two parts of this. Like, I personally have family in India. My parents came from India. We still have land in India. We still have like a lot of connections, deep-rooted connections in India and Punjab as farmers or and even in other industries. And the second part is obviously as even as a citizen of America, as if I had no ties with Punjab or India, you could say, like, even if I had no ties in India or Punjab, you can see what's going on, the images that are being shown on news and spread around social media of like 80-year-old men. So there's an example of one Baba, or not Baba, but elderly gentleman who is in his 80s, and he was served in the military as an officer of India for 20 plus years. And now at the age of 80, his country is rewarding him for his 20 years of service by getting shot in the face and hit with a gas canister, tear gas canister, in the eye right here. So at the age of 80, if you're getting, after serving for a country for 20 plus years, and you're getting the same country is attacking you and your people and your community, it's like unbearable to see and watch. And so, I mean, personally, I obviously am Punjabi. I have family, Punjabi family, but I have friends who go to my university who are white and or even you could say Dominican or a lot of Italian, and they're my friends, and they see what I'm posting on my story, the social media. I'm like we find like quality like content like of that shows what like portrays the images of the brutality that the peaceful protesters are facing. And we put it on social media, and my white friends and my other fellow college students are also they're reposting it because even though they personally might have no connection at all with Punjab at all, they might not even know what Punjab is or where Punjab is. But if you see the police shooting tear gas canisters and water cannons, it brings back images of like the America and civil rights movement in the 1960s with black and white. So that same image comes back right back to it. So you can think about, you would think that over 60 plus 70 years, you would think that the world would make progress, but we have regressed in 30. We're in 2020, and they're looking like images that used to be black and white images of water cannons and tear gas canisters are now present day, happening in present day. So, I mean, it's personally troubling for me, and I'm a Punjabi who knows about Punjab, who knows about farming, who has family doing that. So there's a very deep-rooted personal connection. But along with that is just to anyone, it's a blatant, very easily simple thing to see that someone is walking, somebody's sitting here, they're holding a poster, and they're getting shot with a water cannon. At the age in the winter, in the month of December, and at the age of 60, 70, 80, even 90. You can see there's very troubling videos and images you can see of like elderly men who are like dying. They died. Like there's several people who become a martyr of this cause because they have had a heart attack or
just what Sumit said. So Razia ji, think about that. We have our families who are protesting. We know some of the people. We know people from that area. They are going through all these brutalities by the state, I will say. और कोई ऊपर से आपके आके बोलता है आप तो टेररिस्ट हो.
Exactly. मेरा ये second point था. मैं actually सुबह से ये वाला question करना चाह रही थी कि people जहन बटाने के लिए कि इनको फार्मर बिल से जो एक्चुअल है उससे हटा के खालिस्तान में उलझा दो. How do you see this conversation, all the entire picture?
So I mean, my personal opinion is that like that these are two different conversations, and one, well, the relevant one is the farming one.
Yes, but they insert that, no?
Hanji. So they inserted to take a tangent from the actual Gulf. So if you instead of showing the real brutality and the real oppression that is being caused by this thing and by this bill, if they just label us as anti-nationalists,
Yeah.
and then they take away any real conversation that can occur. So I mean, with this bill, like yes, this bill, like the similar like this, there's a lot of different other states that are very poor farming wise, and they come to Punjab and they farm, the workers from other states come and work in Punjab. But when this bill passed here, like Punjab Sikh farmers were the first to stand up, but everyone has joined.
Yeah.
So it's not that there's a Sikh cause, because I've seen several videos.
Absolutely.
Of
Now Punjab,
Hindu, Sare Ral Milke, they're all fighting in unity. So there was an example of a Muslim, a group of Muslims actually, who are providing langar. So the langar is traditionally, you can say, is a Sikh concept.
Yeah,
but it does. But a Muslim village and this community came
but
together
because this is not the religious this is a fight for every citizen who are connected with the farming. It's not about religion, but they try to make it. So देवेंद्र जी जरा सा बताइए कि ये जो बहुत ही अनएथिकल चीजें इस ड्यूरिंग द पैंडेमिक हो रही हैं, हाउ डू यू सी दैट? Unmute.
Sorry, Hanji. So do you have any unethical when you say you're talking about how the farmers are protested, and or anything else? So one thing I think you guys brought a point. So the government in Punjab, it just so happens. So anyone looking at the Punjab geographically, most of the farmers are Sikhs. Now again, it's not that that is just by nature. Why it happened that way?
Of course.
It happened during the 1947 settlement. So that is what the problem is that, but also strangely most of the Artiyas who are also impacted by this law, most of them they are just happen to be urban Hindus. So again, until now, any government, even Congress used to do that back in 70s. Anytime Punjab farmers movement come in, they will try to put that, oh, this is a Sikh movement, this is a separatist movement. And actually, I have seen it. I was in the village, and I have my father is a farmer. I grew up in a small village, in a small farmer. So anything that the farmers, then the government at that time, Congress was the center government. So they will try to portray, oh, these are the separatists, this is a Sikh issue. They will try to actually create a rift between the Hindus and the Sikhs of Punjab itself.
Wow.
And they have been successful to some extent. However, this time it so happens, at least the Artiyas, which they say that will get rid of the middlemen, they happen to be Hindus. So at least, and they are also fully supporting it. So Punjab farmers are supporting it. And in Haryana, most of the Jat farmers, they are the Jats. They, by religion, they're Hindus. So they have the full support. So that is why at least this time government won't be successful in trying to label it as a Sikh farmers or anything. Now again, I can agree. So sometimes there may be one or two some personal miscreants. They are not representative of any protesting organizations. They might make some noise one way or other. That one is different. The question is, the real question, anyone media should focus on those 30 farmer organizations, the leaders. What are their demands? Their demands are purely regarding these 3 acts, regarding repealing these acts. They have nothing to do with anything else. That the agriculture reform is needed in Punjab and in India. So I'm absolutely agree with that. There is no doubt about it. Farming is becoming less and less productive. But what is unethical is that, that India is a democracy, it's a democratic system. So when you do that, when you know that anything related to agriculture is going to impact 58% people directly, and actually 100% people indirectly, all of the India's population. So when is going to have such a big impact, you need to, what government should have done, they need to go back, they need to talk to the farmer organizations, people on the ground, they need to talk to the state government, they need to talk to we have so many agriculture universities, agriculture experts, talk to the experts. What is the best way out? What is the win-win situation in which everyone wins, in which farmers, can continue to make their livelihood, the states are happy, and the entire India can move towards the next stage. None of that happened in this case. So in this case, so government actually used a really hush strategy. So the bill was introduced in Lok Sabha on September 14. It was passed in Lok Sabha 3 days later, September 17. It was passed in Rajya Sabha September 20th, and it was signed by the president in September 27. It's like 10 days, everything is done. No discussion was done with any farmer organization. No discussion was done in any, they did not even allow open debate from the opposition parties. So why are you doing, and then the government is saying this actually benefits farmers. If it benefits farmer, then farmers should be able to see how it benefits them. Why were they not consulted? So this was to me the first really unethical thing, that the way they have done it is like how the things are done in North Korea or maybe in China. So this is not how the things are done in a democracy. So this is wrong. Second, unethical thing is that how they handle the protests. Now the protests, even though most of the people are aware of the protests happening in Delhi, but they started in Punjab more than 2 months ago, right after the bills were introduced, and and later on they were signed by the president. So 2 months people were protesting in Punjab, all where try to even stop the trains. Then they let them pass in the interests of the country. But no one heard them. No one even offered to have a discussion with them. Then finally they decided to march towards Delhi. So just to get heard, that's all. So, and then the government is, Haryana, government, they dug up, big, trenches on the major highways. Why would you do that? Throw water cannons, tear gas, and then they are now putting cell phone jammers to suppress the communication. But strangely, no one can point out in last more than 2 months, there has not been really any single incident of violence. So yes, so somebody can point out, yeah, there may be some isolated 1 or 2 people who might make noise about whether on the political basis or on different separatism basis. But that doesn't matter.
Some element is everywhere, so we are not going to focus on that part. But the major part of the protesters are peaceful. Silently they are not making any noise, they just want to their right to protest peacefully, and they are doing this. अभी हमारी बात हो रही थी, जैसे we were talking earlier, हरबलदीप जी, ये जो ओपन मार्केट है, इससे स्टेट का जो टैक्सेस मारा जाएगा, जो स्टेट का टैक्सेस खत्म होगा, उस पर आप कुछ कहना चाहेंगे कि उससे क्या सूरत हाल सामने आएगी?
No, that's a good question. I think before I answer your question, I would like to bring some data points, because we all three are from Punjab. Definitely, there are emotions attached to it.
Of course.
But agar hum usko emotion nikal dete, I want to share some data points with you. And I've been trying to understand more intricacies of this bills. I've been talking to a lot of people, and a lot of people are asking a lot of good questions too. You can have tutu meme, and where everybody thinks, it's a zero-sum game. But
there is tutu meme in between Diljit and Kangna. Just leave them.
Yeah, but there are good questions. There are some good, sensible people out there who wanted to have this debate. So first thing, which Devinder just mentioned, Modi ji पहले demonetization लेके आए, और उन्होंने बोला consumer को समझ नहीं आ रहा है इसका फायदा. चलो हमें नहीं समझ आया. उसके बाद whatever happened, I don't have to repeat history by telling you. उसके बाद GST आया, और तब भी बोला गया आपको ट्रेडर को समझ नहीं आ रहा. So ठीक है, ट्रेडर को नहीं समझ आया. फिर उसके बाद CA NRC आया, लोगों को समझ नहीं आया. ठीक है, नहीं समझ आया। अब ये बिल्स आए, अब भी लोगों को समझ नहीं आ रहा, दैट्स फाइन, मे बी as a leader he has to be visionary. Okay, we voted Modi ji to be prime minister of country, so he's a visionary, so he can take us to a path of growth. Great. अगर हम लोगों को समझ नहीं आ रहा, तो I think it's a responsibility of that visionary to have a dialogue between people, to build those bridges between people.
Absolutely.
और हम लोग ब्रिज तो नहीं बना रहे, बट हम लोग गड्ढे डाल रहे हैं रोड में.
Absolutely.
So you need to have a dialogue with us and say, Bhaiya, tumko samajh nahi aa raha. This is my vision. This is where I want to take India.
Yeah.
So that is not happening. So I would really like to ask this question to people who are for this bill. To build bridge, there has to be a discussion, and that discussion is not happening. Even the national media, India ka jo national media hai, they're not carrying.
There is no national media. There is one-sided media. I'm sorry to say.
It is. It's a fact. और देवेंद्र ने अभी बोला, ये स्ट्राइक 10 दिन पहले शुरू नहीं हुई, 2 महीने पहले पंजाब के किसान ये स्ट्राइक पंजाब में कर रहे थे, बट nobody was ready to listen. डेमोक्रेसी में अगर आपकी आवाज नहीं सुनता, what are you going to do? You're going to go to the capital. We go living in America, what do? Black Lives Matter हुआ, we went to Washington DC.
Yeah.
Similarly, we said we're going to do a peaceful protest. We'll march to Delhi, हम लोग जंतर मंतर में जाएंगे. People who understand India की geography, पंजाब से दिल्ली जाने के लिए you have to cross this Haryana because our national highway goes to that. पंजाब के लोग दिल्ली जाना चाहते हैं और हरियाणा की जो गवर्नमेंट है, they are putting these barricades. Why? Somebody needs to ask this question and somebody needs to answer this question. Why are you putting these barricades?
Yeah.
Because they have the same government which is in the central government. Maybe I don't have to answer that question. Okay, उसके बाद किसान को कि जब वो कहते पाप का घड़ा भर जाता है, people are so emotional.
Yeah.
उन्होंने बड़े-बड़े, and there are videos out there, and people, and even my non-Indian friends, because I'm very active in social media, I'm sure you are watching lot of posts about this thing. If you Google, people 70, 80 years old, barricades are just flying in the air. उन्होंने गड्ढे भर दिए.
Right.
पानी की बौछार. There are like water cannons. They say we don't care. They reached Delhi border.
Yes.
And then they made a decision. Okay, we will stay here and do a peaceful protest. Go watch videos. The people who are saying it's a big inconvenience to the people of Delhi. No, nobody's complaining. Ambulance, they give a pass to ambulance. They are serving langar. They are doing a peaceful protest. Anyway, so this is the emotional factor.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, of course. This is the scene of Delhi right now. Yeah.
Let me talk about some data points. So some of the questions being asked, and those are good questions. I respect people who are asking these questions. So government is saying we're making a one market for the farming community. One country, one market. ये slogan है. और उसके बाद अभी ये बोल रहे हैं हम लोग APMC खत्म नहीं करेंगे. APMC won't go away and MSP will be still in force. So this means we are not creating one country, one market. We are creating one country, two markets.
Two markets. Yeah.
Or they're saying APMC will stay, MSP will stay. Let's play this out, okay? APMC में ट्रेडर को जो भी फार्मर से बाय करना चाहता है, grain or vegetables, they pay 6% tax in Punjab. Every state has a different मंडी का tax, और पंजाब में 6%, और आपको लाइसेंस चाहिए होता है मंडी में बाय करने के लिए. सेकंड मार्केट इज ओपन मार्केट. वहां पे कोई टैक्स नहीं आपको पे करना, आपको कोई लाइसेंस नहीं चाहिए, आपको सिर्फ पैन कार्ड चाहिए. Now somebody needs to help me, somebody should help me explain. जब आपको अगर 6% टैक्स पे करना पड़ेगा, मेरे को लाइसेंस भी चाहिए, why will I go to मंडी? मैं सीधा ओपन मार्केट से बाय करूंगा. So after few years these mandis will become redundant. When they become redundant and state will say अभी there is no business, we will dismantle. और आपने क्वेश्चन पूछा, अभी through APMC tax Punjab government gets 3,500 crores of money which they used for the infrastructure of the mandis. Punjab has the best network of roads to these mandis because mandi se apne gaon se aapko wheat or paddy or whatever, you need to carry it to mandi. So the road infrastructure is great. This money will go away. The roads will be not maintained in the future. So the open market. So usse bahut nuksan state government ko hoga. I don't want to get into the state government politics. So center or state, the federalization of Indian government, obviously there's a lot of debate. Or a lot of people ask this question, पंजाब गवर्नमेंट कैप्टन अमरिंदर सिंह ने एक बिल पास किया है स्टेट में, हम लोग जो सेंटर का बिल है हम लोग नहीं मानते. Now let me explain those to people. Indian Constitution has 3 lists. There's a state list. वो bills state लेके आती है, education है और other water है, health है, the state bills होते हैं, center do nothing. Then there is union bills. Defense is one example for that. वो अपनी center or federal government लेके आती है. There is something called a concurrent list. Concurrent list में एक item number 35 है, if I still remember it right, reading it and watching videos. Agriculture is a one thing which state can bring and central government can bring. Because we have a one Supreme Court और constitution में लिखा हुआ अगर central government कोई bill law को लेके आती है and applies to a state, they will trump or they will override that bill. So the people, my friends who are asking me this question, अगर पंजाब ने वो bill pass किया है, तो why Punjabi farmers are worried? Because tomorrow the central law will apply and
Absolutely.
so that's the one point I wanted to make. And second point, the people who are saying अगर हम APMC को dismantle कर देते हैं, MSP dismantle कर देते हैं, the farmers will make more money. I need to ask this question to those people. बिहार में 2006 में state government decided हमें APMC खत्म करना, APMC खत्म हो गया. और going with the same logic, जब APMC खत्म हो जाएगा, middleman निकल जाएंगे, waste खत्म हो जाएगा, and the farmer will get richer. 2006 में बोला गया था, Bihar will be a model state because farmers are going to be pretty rich. Now, fast forward to 2020 today, most of the poor farmers of Bihar, they come to Punjab for labor. So I want to ask this question to people. If open markets are so efficient where the price discovery equilibrium comes in, why these people, why these farmers have to come to Punjab? So going with that logic, and we need to be logical about that. Obviously, politics is over here. There's a Chanakya Niti, kaise todna hai. But let's talk about facts. And people who are arguing for this bill, they need to tell why Bihar model doesn't work. And there may be XYZ reason. Give us a reason. हम लोग समझ पाएंगे. Second thing, अगर वही चीज हम लोग पंजाब में करते हैं, are we repeating Bihar? बिहार वाले लेबर की बंद हो जाएगी, वो पंजाब में नहीं आ सकते. पंजाब वाले जो poor farmer, they will become a labor too.
Yep.
Where will you take? Third point. हम लोग तो यूएस में बैठे हुए हैं, यहाँ पे भी एग्रीकल्चर होती है और यूएस इज एन ओपन मार्केट. यूएस इज एन ओपन मार्केट फॉर 6-7 decades. और यहाँ पे कोई मंडीज नहीं है, कोई एपीएमसी नहीं है, कोई दलाल नहीं है. यहाँ पे वॉलमार्ट कॉन्ट्रैक्ट फार्मिंग करता है और फार्मर से बाय करता है सीधा. एंड फॉर दोज पीपल आई वांट टू शेयर दिस इंफॉर्मेशन. लास्ट ईयर इन यूएस, and this is the data all available, I'm not making, this is not fake facts. There are 425 billion of bankruptcies filed in the US for farmers. और farmers की जो population है US में, it's a 1.5%. Compared to India, which is an agrarian society, 58% of Indian population is engaged in the agriculture sector directly or indirectly. If you think about tractors, tractor की mechanics हैं, fertilizers हैं, 58%. 1.5%. Or second data point, the suicide rate in US rural area is 40% more than urban areas. This means farmers are doing suicides. If they're the richest people with all the means and the standard of living, why will you do suicide? That's another data point. Or US government, every year they pay $60,000 to each farmer as a subsidy, as a compensation. They don't do subsidy on electricity or water. उनको $60,000 दे देते हैं. If US, which is an epitome of capitalism, epitome of open markets, we have the Mercantile Exchange of Chicago, यहाँ पे आप trade कर सकते हो grains को. Why they are suffering? If that open market model is not working in US, you need to explain me, you need to explain all farmers why this will work in India where the 58% of population is engaged in agriculture. That's another point I want to make. And I'm sure that your video is watched by a lot of people and they will watch and they will comment. So I would like people to go and comment and answer these questions. Because तू मैं करने से कोई फायदा नहीं है.
फायदा नहीं होगा. We have to find the way, the correct way. Because see, if you say earlier, not you, but the government, after monetization, वो जो एक क्या था, जहादी जो आ रहे थे, टेररिस्ट जो आ रहे थे, उस पे 100% कंट्रोल हो जाएगा। कंट्रोल हुआ? अब तो ज्यादा हो गया। हमारे घर में घुस के आन के 40 हमारे आर्मी के लोगों को मार गए, यू नो। तो कन्विंसिंग का जो एक इशू है इस गवर्नमेंट के साथ, वो बहुत डेंजर है, क्योंकि वो कुछ बोल नहीं रहे हैं, वो भी नहीं कर रहे हैं।
Let's give Modi ji credit. He's a bold prime minister. वो बहुत बड़े-बड़े decision लेते हैं. He wants to be a reformist. We all are with you because reform की जरूरत है. India can be a superpower. It can be a dual country, but you can't do these reforms without considering people जिनकी livelihood उस पे depend करती है. पंजाब में farmer suicide are at a highest level. उसको समझने की कोशिश करो, बात करो उनसे. और एक मैं पॉइंट और लेके आना चाहता हूं, and then I'll finish it up because this is a very important economic factor too. So the people who are for this bill, and Devinder mentioned about that too, the people who are a big believer in capitalism. Capitalism works, US में work किया है, but US की जो agriculture population 1.5% है. और चाइना में become a superpower because वो काफी manufacturing में आ गए हैं and they have a lot of labor. Let's talk about India. India में अगर 58%, let's say 50% of our population is engaged in a farming business, which translates to 600 million people. और जो agriculture की contribution है to GDP, it's 15%. The market economists, they think if you want to be a developed country, 600 million लोग हैं आपके, वो agriculture sector में और 15% GDP contribute करते हैं. How can we engage the 600 million तो हमें return 15% से ज्यादा मिले? Which means you need to move people from agriculture sector to some other sector. Which means अगर हम ऐसे bills लेके आते हैं which will discourage agriculture, which will move people to some other markets. So one thought is we'll move them to urban sector, urban markets, शहरों में लेके आएंगे. और उसके बाद they will engage in manufacturing or services business. Where is our manufacturing business? Are we making them laborers? And this is a thought process in the farmers right now. They're asking these questions on ground zero. Go and answer them. अगर आप उनको displace कर देते हो agriculture business से, what will they do? They are not well educated. They are not college degrees. They are street smart, as Devinder said. They understand politics. They understand about economics. How will you displace them? So my point is, capitalism cannot work for a pure agrarian society. India को indigenous सोचना पड़ेगा. हमारी जो population है वो agriculture में है, and agriculture हम अन्नदाता बोलते हैं. They feed food to the whole world. I think if we rethink capitalism in the agriculture sector, India can be a superpower, still staying in the farming business. They need to reinvent that model, need to give more thought process about that, instead of removing these bills, making the people angry about that and having these kind of agitations. So these are the few facts and few numbers, and I would like
there is not only the bills, there is so many things work together. We cannot separate one to another because they all are connected. और मैं एक क्वेश्चन सुमीत से करना चाहूंगी. सुमीत, you see that on that particular note, Canada president talk about it. The world leader are talking about it. How do you see that protest? Not only in India and around the globe, there are multiple protests going on. But in comparison of India or this particular protest, how do you see this world or this situation?
So, I mean, in America, it's important that we have our right to protest, and we do have our right to protest. So, I mean, if we're planning protests in New York or wherever the Indian consulate or wherever they're doing, they simply give notice to police just to let them know what's going on, and they make that protest. And you can say that, for example, even Trudeau in his speech, like he said one sentence. He said one sentence about the protest, and he said that, look, I stand with the farmers who are peacefully protesting. And he got backlash from the Indian government saying, how dare you say such a thing, right? How dare you support them? And he's made a response video saying, look, he's saying, no matter where in the world it is, I will always support the democratic right to peacefully protest. There's a video he just put out recently. that even like that, whether or not the worries of this straining relations with the Indian government in Canada, that's irrelevant, because we have to at all basic level, we have to stand for human rights, right? So we are all humans, no matter where we live, whether that be in India, Punjab, Delhi, Boston, Canada, California, wherever it may be. We're all humans. We all need to earn a living and feed our children and live our lives. So if they're taking away the right to the ability to feed your children, we're going to protest in India, we're going to protest in Delhi, we're going to protest in Boston and Punjab and anywhere that we possibly can, because whether we be Punjabi or white people or black people or people of any race. I have several friends I've talked about this, and they just with the basic couple of images, this basic knowledge of what's going on, they're like, okay, what can we do to help you protest? Can we where do we need to meet? What posters do we need to make? What do I need to send out on social media for this awareness to be spread so that we can make a difference? So this resonates with Punjabi people, resonates with farmers of America, resonates with all people who don't understand the situation.
Absolutely. So things are changing. The world is becoming global village, but some point we are experiencing that India is still isolate, or they want to isolate. I don't know why, but as an Indian, and we want India as a developed country. We have हमारे पास सब कुछ है, सोर्सेज हैं, रिसोर्सेज हैं, पैशन है, यूथ है, लेकिन somehow हम उसको मैनेज नहीं कर पा रहे हैं.
हाँ जी. I mean, you can see that with the cell phone jammer did it, Larea. You put on a cell phone jammer in the area of a protest. What message does that send? That means you want to control the narrative, right? So if government wants to control the narrative, then they'll shut down the protesters and the average citizen's ability to show what's happening to the world.
Yeah.
So that right there, you don't have to. This question doesn't even have to be asked because the Indian government already gave their answer.
Yeah, this is happening actually. So thank you so much, Devendra ji, Harbaldeep ji, and Sumit.